Kamala, why are you playing with the money like this? I have tried so hard to leave you alone since the elections. I really have. Anyone who knows me. But why are you playing with the money like this? All right, we gotta talk. First off, they told us you were $20 million in debt. Somebody came in my comments and said that's fine. All the political candidates always end up with discrepancies at the end of their election. So I should have grace for you because discrepancies are normal. To which I responded, Donald Trump didn't. No grace. I'm giving you no grace. You want to be the final girl boss and you're busy doing girl math. Kamala, word on the street is that you haven't even finished paying your staff. Is that true? Have you not paid your staff? I've been hearing a lot. So not only have you not paid your staff, but all of the small dollar donations that were used, that's how you paid for all the entertainment. That's how you paid for the celebrities. I think I'm going to speak for the American people. Like, we hate you. We hate you. The fact that you tried to become the president of this country and you are busy doing girl math is cooking me. Okay? But the reason that I'm actually here today, Kamala, is because I want to talk to you about the text messages I was receiving all year long. See, at first, when I started receiving those text messages, I couldn't discern who was sending it to me because there's so many spam callers coming to all of our phones. So you got all these phone numbers telling you, rush $20, rush $25, act blue. And I never said anything about it because I couldn't discern what was happening. I couldn't figure out if scammers were capitalizing on the election or the election was capitalizing on the American people. One of the more interesting text messages that I'd receive is the one that's like, oh, any amount that you send today and before midnight, we're going to do a 900% match. Any amount that you send, we're going to do a 900% match. Kamala, that never made any sense to me. Who has so much money that they can match any donation that I give at 900%, but they're also not willing to give money unless I give money? What is that? See, I thought it was a scammer. I thought it could have been an African prince. I didn't know who I thought it was, but now that we're running through the finances, girl, it was you the whole time. When I say you, I mean y'all, DNC. It was y'all this whole time. It's giving money laundering. It's giving money laundering. I never understood it. Who is matching our donations by 900%? Girl, I don't know. $20 million in debt is one thing. Not paying your campaign team, your staff, is another thing. Having man on the street people on YouTube, girl, check YouTube. The man on the street interviewers on YouTube are all talking about how when they got on the ground, on the battleground states, they didn't see anybody walking around for your campaign. Even though you said that y'all deployed 12,000 people across the nation to knock on doors, nobody saw them. So where did that money go? So now we got the 20 million that you in debt. We got the text messages that is matching all of our money at hundreds of percent. We have your own staff that hasn't been paid yet. We have campaign initiatives that were supposed to be run in battleground states that were never run. And now, where are you? I'm sorry. It just feels like everyone is fighting and you are gone. Kamala, girl, where are you?
Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise. And yes, we must talk about it. We must talk about it. Black staffers who work for Kamala Harris, who work for her campaign, they are accusing the leadership of mistreatment. They're accusing them of not being paid. They are accusing them of, in some cases, forcing them to either come out of their own pockets or find alternative ways to do their job. This is flat out ridiculous. Flat out ridiculous when you had a campaign that had access to over $2 billion. Money spent on all types of things. Everybody got a bag except for the lower level people at the bottom of the totem pole. We got to get into it, man. I got some videos. I got an article I want to share with you guys just to kick things off. This is an article from Economic Times. All right, let's get into this article real fast. So it says here, Black staffers who work for Kamala Harris's campaign, presidential campaign, accuse leadership of mistreatment. And here are all the stunning claims that they have made. Now, after we get into this article, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I will leave the link to the article in the description box just so you can check it out for yourself if you would like to read the article in its entirety. But it says here that Black staffers used to work for Kamala Harris's campaign allege serious mistreatment and racial discrimination by the campaign's leadership, according to a recent New York Times article that outlines these very allegations. Frustration due to the lack of outreach from voters of color, with Philadelphia being one of the chief places, led some staffers into taking matters into their own hands. Now, what we know about Kamala Harris, during her time as vice president, is that she couldn't keep people. She had a revolving door of people that were a part of her, I guess, I don't even know what you call it, administration, cabinet, whatever you want to call it. Those people were leaving, especially the Black ones. There was a lot of people that were leaving her because they couldn't stand to work for her for one reason or another. As we continue into this article, it says, as the election drew near, staffers and in particular Black staff began to express significant dissatisfaction with how the campaign was running outreach to communities of color. Staffers in Philadelphia felt that racially diverse neighborhoods were being ignored by campaign leadership. The New York Times stated that other employees acted in secret as their worries about the insufficient resources and attention being given to Black and Latino communities were ignored. Now, what we do know is after, sitting back and getting a chance to see the data, we know that over 50% of Latinos supported President Trump. Could have been a reason that, she lost because she decided not to go and speak to those people, because I would assume that they thought that they had those people in the bag, which is the same reason why they don't necessarily reach out to Black folks like that, because they feel like they have your vote in the bag. They don't have to work for it. And to an extent, especially when it comes to Black women, they kind of proved it. Black women in this country gave Kamala Harris over 90% of their vote. Over 90% of their vote with no tangible and nothing offered to those women other than pregnancy termination. That was it. As we get into this, it also says that the frustrations of Black campaign staffers culminated in a survey which found that Black employees felt that their ideas were ignored at a much higher rate than their peers. And in some cases, staffers reported outright racial discrimination. Hold up, time out. This is the Democratic Party. This is supposed to be, at least that's what they keep telling us, this is the party of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what they've told us. But here it is, you have Black people working for this campaign feeling slighted. Again, what we know about the Democrat Party is this. They've always been the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of redlining. Not much has changed. Not much has changed. And here it is with the quote unquote faux Black woman. You got all these sisters out here running around. Oh yeah, this sister, that, not realizing that she's actually anti-Black. And if you actually go and look at her track record, look at her record out in California as AG. Look at what she did. Locked up Black women because because the kids wasn't in school. Kept Black men in jail for, small amounts of marijuana. Suppressed evidence for a multitude of Black men that kept them in jail. And in one case that I know of for sure, the Jamal Truelove case, she actually suppressed evidence which caused that man to be convicted of a unaliving, and he had to fight for his life in prison for about 6 or 7 years before he was exonerated, got out, sued the state of California because they suppressed evidence that would have freed him. And he wins $13 million or so from the state of California. This was under her watch, but yet they told us that she was going to be somebody that was going to come in and save the quote unquote black community. And she didn't even support the people that worked for her. We're going to check out a clip from a whistleblower that worked in the administration. You guys got to see this, because this dude is saying he's saying everything that a lot of us on this side of things have been saying about these people for quite some time. Check this out.
I work for the White House.
So you're pretty high up in the government.
Yeah, I'm fairly high up. I'm good at keeping secrets, and so I manage 2 federal agencies, the State Department and USAID.
So when you say it's like security, like you're protecting
the networks of the federal agencies
You're
that you give all your information to.
The mission is to protect
Yes.
information.
And we are like the president's voice when we go into meetings in terms of discussing and promoting the president's priorities.
Is he going to be the nominee?
Yes. And she will be the vice president nominee.
Yeah, I don't.
There was a debate about removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass.
But with him,
I know.
Y'all heard what he said. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass. Why is that the case?
Removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass.
But with him,
this is a black woman that can't keep black women on her staff. That's what they told us. They told us that she was a black woman because she's Jamaican and she went to Howard, or at least her father's Jamaican and she went to Howard and she's an AKA. But you can't work with black people. You can't have black people working for you. You are so toxic. The work environment that you provide to them is so toxic that they can't stand to work for you. Really? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. And the fact that so many people fell for this lie, fell for this fake individual, is just baffling to me. But I'm glad that this is coming out. I am glad that this is coming out so people can see exactly who the Democratic Party is. They have not changed. People said the party switched. The parties did not switch. They got a little smarter. But the parties didn't switch. And they've been using black faces to suppress their own people. See Brandon Johnson out there in Chicago. See Tiffany Henyard out there outside of Chicago, Dalton. See Fannie Willis down there in Atlanta. There's brothers locked up in Fulton County Jail right now, been in there for 2-3 years, no court date, no trial. This is a black woman. These are the people that they use to keep us down. It's flat out ridiculous. And yet you have people out here, calling Trump, oh, Trump's a racist and he's this and he's that. And it's like, wait, last time I checked, majority of black people live in liberal strongholds. And the schools are terrible. Crime is through the roof. Come on, man. Jobs are not plentiful and accessible like that. It's a freaking mess in these places, but yet people continue to support these folks. And the reason why they support them is because they don't know who they are. That's just like the lady, I think her name is Rachel Scott, when she was interviewing Trump and she was talking about the Democrats, and she brought up Lyndon Baines Johnson as like the savior for the Civil Rights Movement or Civil Rights Act. Like, are you freaking kidding me? It makes me think that either you're just so indoctrinated and you're so willing to sell your own people out for a bag, or you are just a educated fool. I'm not sure which one it is, but both of them are pretty daggone bad. We're going to watch this video from Angela Rye because Angela Rye is going to say exactly what this guy said here that we watched in the clip from James O'Keefe, and shout out to him, and what the sister that opened the video up with, she is going to say it, that these black folks that were a part of Kamala's campaign, they were mistreated, were not listened to, And a lot of them, they still have not been paid.
There are Black staff who are part of the organizing community, part of canvassing, challenge paid canvassers, challenge whether or not this was the right tactic, said they didn't have the resources. Jasmine, who was the state director in Florida, Andrew, I sent you her tweet, her Twitter thread earlier. She goes in about how much they had to rely on outside resources because they couldn't get any resources from the campaign because the campaign had pretty much given up on Florida. The sad part is, y'all, that is not a Florida unique story. It is the story of every battleground state director, and that has to be discussed. They spent so much time and effort in ensuring that these large, rich, white consultants would keep their share, could even potentially get bonuses off of a loss, but wouldn't get these folks the dollars they needed to get signs on the ground, to get folks on the ground knocking on doors. You guys, we went and knocked on doors. We couldn't figure out how to use the MGP van app. Right. We could not say if somebody wasn't home.
And this is somebody who is a staunch Democrat saying this. And yet they're still rocking with these people. And they're still promoting Kamala Harris. And they're still promoting the Democrat Party. The party that does not care about you. Honestly, if you are not an elite, the Democratic Party, they don't give 2 cents about you. They just laundered almost $2.5 billion. They raised a lot of money from people who did not have it to give. And a lot of the money was given to rich people. Actually, all of the money was given to rich people. You had these consultant firms that were being paid millions upon millions of dollars for this campaign. The American people were robbed by this lady. And no one's talking about it. It's a daggone shame, man. Folks need to wake the heck up. I hope people in the Black community see this, see other content creators that have created things about similar to this right here, talking about this particular subject, and wake the heck up and get off of the Democratic plantation. I'm not saying they need to go and be Republicans. Go be an independent and vote policy over party. Simple as that. I'm not saying, hey, if you are a Black person out there, you got to go join the Republican Party. I'm not saying that because the Republican Party has some issues as well. You got some of these rhinos out here trying to sabotage what President Trump is trying to get accomplished in this country. These establishment rhinos. So I'm not saying jump off the cliff and go support that either. But what I am saying is become more politically astute, get a real understanding of what's going on and who these people are, not what you think or what you feel, but what you've researched and what you've learned. Go independent and then vote policy over party. And if that means that you're supporting this time around a Republican candidate, hey, do what you have to do. But quit supporting the Democrat Party wholeheartedly and then be mad when you don't see any representation on the Republican side. People are up in arms about the fact that there's only one Black person in Trump's cabinet right now, or at least that's been nominated. There is a multitude of, quote unquote, people of color. We're all Americans, so none of that stuff actually matters. We only, in my opinion, we're looking for the best people for the job. But if you are a Black person, especially if you voted for Kamala Harris, you ain't got a dog in the fight to be upset about who's in the daggone cabinet. You don't. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so you never miss an upload. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. You know we got the live show, call-in show tonight. It's going to be a great show. It's been really good all week long. I appreciate you guys, man. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports me, the team, the channel. It gives us the ability to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so